Hi guys, and welcome to this episode of the Just My Opinion podcast. Today we are going to be talking about Cameroonian mixed martial artist champion Francis Ngannou. So we are specifically going to be talking about this tweet about him where MMA Uncensored tweeted, one championship CEO says that he offered Francis Ngannou $20 million guaranteed, but it wasn't enough. He was asking for a seat on the board of directors. He wanted all these non-financial terms. So I know I've seen an article about Francis Ngannou stepping down as the UFC champion. So yeah, so I know he stepped down because of this. He wants to be in a position of power where he can be able to make changes for fighters. So like I feel like he has like this grand mindset which he has, but fans had mixed reactions to this. But before we proceed to talk about this, hi Ambassador.
Hello people, it's your Ambassador again doing his thing.
So what do you think about Francis Ngannou's move? Because when people were buzzing, he had this to say to fans. So he tweeted, he said, don't panic, guys. Everything is under control. Have faith. So this is what he had to say. So people are making comments like he's throwing away his career, he'll probably never get that offer again, how can he miss out on that, he's not that relevant. Like there are a lot of reactions. Some people are like he's doing something noble. What's your reaction to this?
So one, I think it's something worth talking about because the gospel we preach on Chakara TV is go out there, build those structures, try to set up your own system and things like that, monetize your art and all of those things, good stuff we talk about on Chakara TV. With that being said, in trying to build those structures and monetize your art, you definitely find some resistance and opposition, because if you are not monetizing your art, somebody's monetizing it for you. If you don't have those structures, somebody has the structures that is using your art to make money out there. So in you trying to build those structures, you definitely get opposition, which I think is what Francis Ngannou is facing. Francis Ngannou is a Cameroonian. One, he has this Hollywood-worthy or Hollywood-worthy story, which he traveled across the desert and then made it to France. His dream was to become a heavyweight boxer, ended up in MMA or mixed martial arts fighting. That's how he made his first check. He moved to the US and then became very successful. But the sad thing about this success is he has not really made the money he should have made if he was born in America and got all this fame over these years. Because I think in the beginning, his bargaining power was very weak. His exposure and his fan base and his ability to drag fights was very weak. His marketability was not the best, given that he's from Francophone Africa, so he could not, like in boxing, you need to sell the fight. You need to be able to curse out, intimidate your opponent. You will still shy, like, if I intimidate this guy, maybe they'll refuse that I should not fight, maybe I'll not get this money. I'm just saying random things. But that can be taken into consideration that in the beginning he could not negotiate properly, not the best bargaining power, so he was not being paid his dues. So till let's say later 2-3 years, when he was really fighting the championship fights and things, then they started bumping up his money. It was still not close to, I think, like the last fight where I may be mistaken, I stand corrected, but the last fight where he beat up Miocic, he won, but I think the other guy made more money because the other guy was a bigger name, the other guy was marketable, worthy and things like that. Was market worthy and things like that. So it's only the right for him to stand up for his money. Also, from what we hear, he was trying to get insurance for MMA fighters. NBA players whose sport is not as risky as MMA fighters have insurance for their art or their sports. How come people who are fighting are not covered by a certain level of insurance? So finally, we were told he got the insurance, but he also wanted the insurance for all the other fighters. That's where the organization could not grant him that, and that's where they decided to part ways. Now, looking at the tweet you or the post you shared, what's crazy there is they are sharing it like, look at the terrible things this guy is doing. And the only terrible thing they have to say is that he was asking for, should I call it, a seat on the table. They just wanted to give him money, but no seat, no equity, no decision-making power. And him asking for that is almost now like that's the blasphemy he has committed, which I don't think so. We have seen in other places where guys get a seat on the table due to their experience in the sport. Guy who cut Jordan a seat on the table because they know what he brings on the table. It's not proper that you are killing yourself. You risk, maybe we saw guys like Muhammad Ali lose their senses due to box punches they were receiving in the ring. And then some other person is just there signing the checks and enjoying money to his fruitful, happy old age. It's not proper. So I think if he has built a buffer enough where he thinks, and I like the guy, he's very humble. You don't see him in Ferraris. He does not look like a guy who, if he gets sent back to Cameroon with the money he has made, he's going to be very sad. I don't think so. Comes back to Cameroon, you see him in the local restaurant, you see him doing his former job, which was loading sand into the trucks. You see him in some river somewhere around Boya. I think Boya, the town where I'm based, he just left Boya, I think last week or so. Normal guy mixing with the people. So he's not faced by that money and those things. He knows that he's worth it, and he's just trying to push his bargain to get the best. Plus, he's getting old. I don't think he's going to fight for too long. So it's not a bad thing for him to try to cash in as much as he can. It's a risky thing in the sense that if he gets his way, his generation will never lack. He might be able to bring more Africans on the negotiation table and maybe even build something in Africa because he has decision-making powers. But if he does not go his way, he's still made for life. So it's a risk worth taking because I think he's good. And for us to bring change in our society, people need to make this level of sacrifices where, for me, it's not even so much of a sacrifice because you are already good. You have enough money to last you a lifetime if you just manage it properly. And the way he lives, he does not live out of his means in any way or in any sense. So I think it's a logical decision to make, to try to change things now for your people and your generations and not just for yourself, which is what I think he's trying to do.
Yeah, when as I'm hearing you talking, what is coming to my mind is the illustration you previously gave of the prisoner. He's thrown the key and he's thrown bread and he's fighting for the bread instead of getting the key, which might open a lot of doors and increases his possibilities. And I think Francis Ngannou is in that place where he doesn't need that bread anymore, where he can sit back and say, I want the key, I want the seat on the table. And if they turn him down and say, okay, we're not giving the seat on the table, it's not like he's going to stop. But many people are thinking of the mindset of 20 million. Yeah, because they're like, 20 million will solve a lot of my problems I have in this one. Somebody is turning it down. Yeah, so I think he's definitely thinking from the mindset of somebody who is not in a position of desperation. It's in the position of, okay, I want the long-term change. I want to take the option which is not just going to put food on my table today, but it's going to put food on generations to come. And yeah, so I think it's a really noble thing that he's doing. And like you said, if he's sent home today, the kind of lifestyle he lives is not the lifestyle of somebody who will go bankrupt or anything. So guys, before we proceed to talk more about Francis Ngannou and his decision, let's talk about the sponsor of this podcast, Echo Online.
Okay, people, Echo Online is here to democratize the playing field for African artists. Often we say African artists are independent by default. That means all of them are independent artists. They don't have access to resources. They don't have investors. They don't have the networks which other artists enjoy around the world. So African artists, Echo.online is here to solve that problem. We all say Echo. With Echo.online, the power is in your hand. Just Google Echo.online. The app is on Play Store. You get it there. Just using your phone, you could monetize your art. You could upload your song, build your fan base by getting followers. You could share your music with friends on the various social media platforms. And then there are lots of other interesting features Echo.online is working on to help you create events get bookings, sell your products on it, and all of those things. So Echo.online is here to actually change the landscape of music across Africa. Rather than artists having to upload their songs, get people in the US to create accounts for them, so that when they get money from Tidal and iTunes, then the person has to send the money to them using MoneyGram. At times there are charges, at times the money gets lost due to maybe extra cost or people who are being dishonest. With Echo.online, you sell your song, you get your money in your phone using maybe mobile money or any other payment means you are familiar with. Echo.online can help you to build your art step by step in an organic manner. Build your fan base, get your money, invest again in your craft, and just so your art is growing. Echo.online is here to make things different and profitable for the African artists. So just go on Echo.online. I usually use the example of YouTube. The first users who got on YouTube became millionaires from YouTube. Because one, the team was able to support them and give them all the advantages YouTube had to offer. Two, they were able to start off, they had a head start above all the others. So YouTube became crowded later on, but they had already made all the money and all the resources that could be gotten and made from YouTube. So I really encourage African artists to get on Echo.online. Start to familiarize yourself with it, start to build your followers, start to get a fan base, start to get in touch with the technical team or the customer service of Echo.online. That way you share your story and you come and thank Chakara TV team, Just My Opinion podcast, for giving you heads up in regards to this wonderful product to change lives of artists across Africa. Echo.online, jump on it.
Yeah, guys, Echo.online is definitely the way to go. And if you want to get your music on the radar of Chakara TV, you would like us to notice your song, maybe review your song, maybe put your song in a video, definitely you might want to go through the channel of Echo.online, because that's where I go to just scroll and see what's new out there. Yeah. So, Francis Ngannou making a statement saying either he's on the board or he's not interested. Yeah. Because I feel like being the winner, I think being the winner, a UFC champion, he had the power to demand the insurance. But being on the board, there's a lot more changes he can make. He's not just a talent. He's in a decision-making position, and I think it does a lot for art or sports or whatever to get somebody who has been the talent, somebody who has been in the field, being behind the scene. I feel they are in a better they make decisions or they make suggestions from a more I have been there position, more this is what it feels like they make better decisions for the people who are presently there. So I think Francis Ngannou having a board position, it's a good idea, although a lot of people online felt like it was an outrageous ask. But I think that's what you need to expect when you're going on a journey of I want change. A lot of people are not going to understand what you're doing. A lot of people are not going to believe in you. And I like the fact that he made that statement on Twitter saying that, guys, have faith. Don't worry. Everything is fine. Yeah, because a lot of people are saying he has passed his prime. He might never have this kind of offer again. This is the best he can have, and a lot of things. But yeah, I mean, I wish him all the best, and I think it's a good fight. And yeah, let's see how it turns out.
So, for me, first thing I would say is, like you said, he's in that space where he can negotiate those things. And if he does not do it, who is going to do it? Two, he has been on both sides of the table. So when he's on the side of the businessman or the boardroom, he's now thinking about the profit they have to make. But he will also not forget and think with some empathy about the guys who are being punched in the ring, because he has been on that side too. Secondly, when people say he has passed his prime, most of the time I'm like, what are you calling his prime? The guy has made enough money to last him a lifetime. You have never even had a prime in your own life, and you are coming to tell somebody that he has passed his prime. When he was in his prime, he made enough money, so passing his prime is not really a bad thing like that. And he can as well end there by just passing his prime. Have you even had a prime? I don't. So, with that being said, I think it's a plus. It's also leaving I don't call it a legacy, but it's also a role model for many other Africans in different walks of life, to tell you that when you get to a certain level, you don't need to think only about yourself and your family, but also think about the people. How can you make decisions now that can affect millions and thousands of lives? Stop thinking about just your pocket, because your pocket is good, it's full and it's overflowing. Now start to think about the people, which is something we really lack in Africa, because most of our leaders don't think about the people.
Yeah. I mean, you know what could just come to mind? I feel like the fact that Francis Ngannou went through a lot of hardship to get to where he is at now. I feel like that journey was good training for him. That journey really taught him a lot. And that's why they say, like, what really matters is the journey, is not even the destination. Because if you don't take a strong enough journey and you get
from the journey,
you don't learn anything from the journey and you get to the destination, you might not even make use of the position that you find yourself in. But I feel like he took a journey which was, he learned the lessons, and he's showing that right now. Okay, people, that's it. That's our opinion. Share your opinion down in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Thumbs up to this video if you enjoy our content. Subscribe to our channel, hit the notification button, and see you guys next time.